metal world has lost one of its most iconic voices. Tomas Lindberg, the legendary frontman of At the Gates, passed away at the age of 52 after a courageous battle with adenoid cystic carcinoma, a rare form of oral cancer. His death, confirmed by the band, marks a profound moment of grief for fans and fellow musicians alike, as Lindberg not only shaped the sound of melodic death metal but also embodied its raw, unrelenting spirit. Born Tomas Lindberg Redant on October 16, 1972 in Gothenburg, Sweden, he rose from the underground scene to become a pioneering figure whose searing vocals and intense presence defined an entire genre. Lindberg's journey into music began in the fertile ground of Sweden's burgeoning extreme metal scene in the late 1980s. Gothenburg, a hotbed of innovation, gave birth to bands that would redefine heavy music, and Lindberg was at the forefront. He joined At the Gates in 1990, just as the group coalesced from the remnants of the short-lived Grotesque. From the outset, Lindberg's contributions were electric. His vocal style, a blistering mix of guttural roars, high-pitched shrieks, and an almost melodic urgency, set him apart. It wasn't just aggression, it was emotion distilled into sound, channeling fury and vulnerability in equal measure. Early albums like The Seasons of Chaos, 1991, and With Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness, 1993, showcased a band honing its edge, but it was Slaughter of the Soul in 1995 that catapulted At the Gates and Lindberg into legend status. Slaughter of the Soul remains a cornerstone of melodic death metal, blending the ferocity of death metal with intricate guitar harmonies that evoked a sense of melancholy amid the chaos. Tracks like Blinded by Fear and Slaughter of the Soul became anthems, their riffs and rhythms influencing a generation. Lindberg's lyrics, laced with themes of existential dread and societal critique, added layers of depth. He wasn't content with mere brutality. His words probed the human condition, questioning conformity and power structures in a world that often felt oppressively mundane. The album's impact rippled outward, inspiring the Gothenburg sound that bands like In Flames and Dark Tranquillity would carry forward, and even crossing into metalcore territories years later. The Gates disbanded in 1996, but the blueprint Lindberg helped forge endured, a testament to his visionary role. Yet Lindberg's creativity refused to be confined to one band. Throughout the late 1990s and 2000s, he poured his energy into a constellation of projects that highlighted his versatility. With The Crown, he delved into straight-ahead death metal, delivering thunderous performances on albums like Death Race King 2000, where his voice cut through like a blade. Lock Up, a grindcore supergroup, allowed him to unleash shorter, more visceral bursts of rage, capturing the punk-infused fury of the genre on releases such as Hatebreed Suffering 2002. Kit System, his foray into crust punk, brought a raw, political edge with lyrics railing against fascism and environmental destruction, causes Lindberg championed offstage as well. And The Great Deceiver, a more experimental outfit blending hardcore and death metal, showcased his willingness to push boundaries, as heard on A Season in Hell 2007. These endeavors weren't side gigs, they were extensions of Lindberg's ethos, a commitment to the DIY underground where music was a weapon for change. His personal life intertwined deeply with his art. Lindberg was a vocal advocate for social justice, often using his platform to speak out against oppression and inequality. He lectured on music and culture, contributed to fanzines, and mentored young artists, always emphasizing authenticity over commercialism. In interviews, he spoke candidly about the mental toll of the scene, the isolation, the relentless touring, but also its redemptive power. "Music saved me," he once said, a sentiment echoed in his lyrics that grappled with inner demons and collective struggles. Married and a father, Lindberg balanced the chaos of his career with quiet domesticity in Gothenburg, though he rarely discussed it publicly, preferring the music to speak for itself. 2007 reunion of At the Gates was a seismic event. Fans had clamored for it, and Lindberg delivered with undiminished ferocity. Live shows were marathons of intensity, with him prowling stages like a caged animal, sweat-soaked and unyielding. Comeback album At War with Reality 2014 was a masterclass in evolution, darker, more progressive, yet rooted in the classic sound. Lindberg's vocals had matured, gaining a haunted resonance that amplified the album's themes of perception and illusion. Debuted to critical acclaim, proving that At the Gates wasn't chasing nostalgia but advancing the conversation. Follow-ups like To Drink from the Night Itself, 2018, and The Nightmare of Being, 2021, ventured further into atmospheric territories, incorporating jazz influences and philosophical undertones. Lindberg's voice remained the anchor, a force of nature that could shift from whispery menace to full-throated howl in an instant. Tragedy struck in December 2023 when Lindberg was diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma. The slow-growing but insidious cancer targeted his mouth and palate, threatening the very instrument that had defined his career. In a statement released by the band on August 15, 2024, after months of silence, he opened up with characteristic candor and resolve. "Hello, everyone. I guess some of you may have been wondering why it has been so silent on the At the Gates front lately," he wrote. He detailed the major surgery that removed a significant portion of his mouth's roof, followed by grueling radiation therapy. Recovery was arduous, a long, hard path, but Lindberg faced it head-on, even finding dark humor in the absurdity. Determined not to let illness derail his work, Lindberg pushed forward with the band's new album. Vocals for the demos were laid down before the diagnosis escalated, but the final takes, raw, one-take masterpieces, were recorded in a single day just before his surgery. The last version of the vocals were recorded in one day, mostly one takes, the day before the surgery just to make sure we had the album, he explained. This unnamed record, a collaboration with longtime members Jonas Stillhammer and Anders Bjorler, blends the ferocity of Slaughter of the Soul with the complexity of At War with Reality. It's a return to roots, yet forward-looking, a mix of blistering riffs and introspective passages. The band, respecting Lindberg's wishes, opted to release it without delay, unsure of his ability to tour. "Now, when everything about the future is a bit more unsure, it feels good to deliver this album," Lindberg noted. "It is an album that we all are very proud of." In May 2025, a setback landed him in long-term care, the cancer's remnants proving inoperable and resistant to radiation. Chemo loomed as the next battle, a fight to keep it at bay. Throughout, Lindberg maintained privacy, declining interviews on his health. "Please respect that we don't want to make a big thing about all this," he urged, focusing instead on gratitude for his fans and the music they'd created together. His final words in the statement rang with quiet defiance. "I hope you all are well. Take care of yourself, your loved ones, and the time you have on this earth." Tomas Lindberg's death on September 16, 2025, silences a voice that roared for over 3 decades, but his influence echoes eternally. From the sweat-drenched clubs of Gothenburg to festivals worldwide, he was the heartbeat of melodic death metal, a genre he helped birth and nurture. Bands from Arch Enemy to Gojira owe a debt to his innovation, his ability to fuse melody with malice. Beyond the music, Lindberg was a philosopher in growls, a punk at heart who reminded us that art should provoke, unite, and heal. As At the Gates prepares to unleash their final gift, Lindberg's legacy isn't one of loss but of unyielding fire. He taught us to scream into the void, to find beauty in the breakdown, and to cherish the fleeting fury of life. In a genre built on extremity, Tomas Lindberg was extreme in his humanity, and for that, he'll be mourned, celebrated, and remembered forever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.